भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशधारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासति गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मुखम करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणे हरे कृष्णा. So today we will see verse number 16 of chapter 7, knowledge of the absolute. So Krishna in the 15th shloka we saw over last 2 days, Krishna explained the four kinds of people who don't surrender unto him. So that time the word used is prapadyante. Namam dushkritino mudha prapadyante naradama. Surrender. So now Krishna in this shloka he will explain about the people who start rendering service. So the word here is bhajante. So let's see the shloka. चतुर्विधा भजन्ते माम् जनः सुकृतिनो अर्जुन सुकृतिनो अर्जुन आर्तो जिज्ञासु अर्थार्थी ज्ञानी च भरतवर्षभ चतुर्विधा भजन्ते माम् जनः सुकृतिनो अर्जुन आर्तो जिज्ञासुरर्थार्थी ज्ञानी च भरतवर्षभ Please chant.
चतुर्विधा भजन्ते मां जना सुकृतिनो अर्जुन आर्तो जिज्ञासुरर्थार्थी ज्ञानी च भरतर्षभ.
चतुर्विधा भजन्ते मां जना सुकृतिनो अर्जुन आर्तो जिज्ञासुरर्थार्थी ज्ञानी च भरतर्षभ.
Anybody else want to chant? So let's see translation and purport. O best among Bhartas, four kinds of pious men begin to render devotional service unto me: the distressed, the desirer of wealth, the inquisitive, and he who is searching for the absolute knowledge of the absolute purport. Unlike the miscreants, these are the adherents of the regulative principles of scriptures, and they are called Sukritina, or those who obey the rules and regulations of scriptures, the moral and social laws, and are more or less devoted to the Supreme Lord. Out of these there are four classes of men: those who are sometimes distressed, those who are in need of money, those who are sometimes inquisitive, and those who are sometimes searching after knowledge of the absolute truth. These persons come to the Supreme Lord for devotional service under different conditions. These are not pure devotees because they have some aspiration to fulfill in exchange of the devotional service. Pure devotional service is without aspiration and without desire for material profit. The Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.1.11 defines pure devotion thus: Anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karmadi anamrutam anukulayena krishnano shilanam bhakti ruttanam. One should render transcendental loving service to the Supreme Lord favorably without desire of material profit or gain through fruitive activities or philosophical speculation. This is called pure devotional service. When these four kinds of person come to the Supreme Lord for devotional service and are completely purified by the association of pure devotee, they also become pure devotee. As far as the miscreants are concerned, for them devotional service is very difficult because their lives are selfish, irregular, and without spiritual goals. But even some of them, by chance, when they come in contact with pure devotee, also become pure devotees. Those who are always busy with fruitive activities come to the Lord in material distress, and at that time, associate with pure devotees and become in their distressed devotees of the Lord. Those who are simply frustrated also come sometimes to associate with pure devotees and become inquisitive to know about God. Similarly, when the dry philosophers are frustrated in every field of knowledge, they sometimes want to learn of God, and they come to the Supreme Lord to render devotional service and thus transcend knowledge of impersonal Brahman and the localized Paramatma and come to the personal conception of Godhead by grace of Supreme Lord or his pure devotee. On the whole, when the distressed, the inquisitive, the seekers of knowledge, and those who are in need of money are free from all material desires, and when they fully understand that material narration has nothing to do with spiritual improvement, they become pure devotees. As long as such a purified stage is not attained, devotees in transcendental service to the Lord are tempted with fruitive activities, the search of for mundane knowledge, etc. So one has to transcend all these before one can come to the stage of pure devotional service. So Chaturvida bhajante, four kinds of peoples. The word here used here is bhajante. Yeah. The last verse, the word was prapadyante, the surrender. But here now Krishna is saying bhajante. So those who start doing the service. So after we start, after bhajante is prapadyante. After we do service, then we at a higher stage of consciousness or higher realizations, we surrender. We surrender. Surrender means what? We do only things which are favorable for bhakti. So, but when we do bhajante, we are doing the service, but we also do the things which are not favorable, which are decremental, and we are also having desires. So, but in that stage, we at least start bhajante. Uh, and why these four kinds of people start sukruti? No, because they have some good credits of some activities. So Srila Prabhupada mentions here as pious activities. The last verse, the word was dushkritino. They don't have any um, good karma or good activities. So here the word bhajante and sukritino are related because of doing the pious activities you can only start the bhakti or service. Bhakti is later part, but at least you can start the service. And then when you continue doing this, then Krishna will tell when we start, and after that when we will prapadyante. That will come in the future shlokas. But then what are the four kinds? Arto means distressed. So question may come that if the Shastra says, even Bhagavad Gita says in 8th chapter, this world is a place of misery. Uh, there is dukkhalayam ashashvatam. There is dukkha only in this material world, and it's not eternal. This world is not eternal. So if Krishna says that um, it's all the place of misery, then what exactly is artho? Because in that way, if it is distressed or people with misery, then everybody is in misery, but still everybody don't surrender, right? So the the explanation is like because this world is full of miseries, but some miseries are temporary. Some miseries are small, which does not impact us. Some miseries are big. Hmm. But the small miseries, which are temporary or short time or period, we forget them. And then we also have some enjoyment. So when there is some misery, we also take some enjoyment, and by that we think the misery is gone. Actually, misery is not gone, it's there, but temporary we forget about it. So some people who are, we don't know, many people don't know that they are in misery. So if we have a lot of money and if we have a lot of fame, we think we are happy. So they don't know that that state of being in that situation is also not a happy condition, it's a misery. No, most of the people don't know this, right? And if some know, then they have different ways to overcome it. Like some start drinking, some start smoking, some start taking drugs, some start watching movies or eating. So there are alternatives by which people think that the distress is gone, so they will not come. So in that also few will come. So the example of this is in Bhagavatam is Gajendra when he was in distress, uh, when his foot was caught by the crocodile. He was in misery, distress, and after 100 years of fight in the pond with the crocodile, he understood that he is in problem. Then he surrendered unto, then he start prayers to Vishnu. Then the next is Jigyasu, so inquisitive, who try to uh, ask questions to the great souls and try to get the answers and then try to understand what exactly is this world, why it is made, who is the proprietor, who am I, that type of thing. So the example of this is the in Bhagavatam many years Arjuna is also asking several Jigyasu, right? He is also asking several questions. Or Bhagavatam we also the Shaunaka Muni, the sages of Naimisharanya, they are asking the questions to Sutta Goswami. So they are Jigyasu. The Artharthi, those who want money, they surrender unto God for want of money. The example is Dhruva Maharaj. He wanted a kingdom far superior than his father or in his dynasty, the richest one. So he started bhajante, he started the bhakti process with that motive to earn money. But when he ultimately met Krishna, then he said, I don't want anything. But that's later. But he started with the desire for having kingdom. Then Gyani. So Gyani is the are the people who, there are two types of Gyanis, right? Those who know that this material world is temporary and they are not body, but they are soul. But they don't know, some Gyanis, they stop there and they don't know the relationship with the super soul, and um, our duty is to serve the supreme. They don't know this. Their Gyan is okay, I am not body, I am uh, soul. But here, Krishna is not talking about those Gyanis because he's already saying Bhajante Ma. So he's talking about the Gyanis who have further knowledge that I am not body, I am soul, and my relationship with the God, and then I'm part of the God, and my duty is to serve the God. So they have this knowledge. So these four type of people surrender. So the example of Gyanis is four Kumaras, the sons which were born from Brahma's mind. So they had Gyan, but uh, they understood that they are not body. So they asked the boon from Brahma that they should remain always 5 years old. They don't want to grow up. But they had all the knowledge and they know that they have to surrender. So, but they have knowledge that they are not body, so they don't want to entangle in the body. But so in that situation, they had little bit faith that there is something beyond the material world, and then they try to find out with their gyan, and then when they uh, by chance they come in contact with the smell of the tulsi leaves from Vishnu's lotus feet, then they become devotee. But they start with the gyan. So these four types of people somehow or other start worshipping the Supreme Lord. So that's what Krishna is telling here. And Srila Prabhupada mentions elaborately about because these four, they have just started bhajan. They are not pure devotees yet because they have some desires. uh, but when we say bhakti, bhakti is without any desire for ourselves. It is just for pleasing the Supreme Lord. So Krishna will explain more details about these four kind of people. Okay, then who is better? What is best in all these four? Because if those four, and why they four are great, all four are great. So, if I have desire for earning lot of money, then why I am great? So that we'll see in the next verses. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. So any points, any questions or additions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
I have one question regarding these four people mentioned in this verse.
Mhm,
So, for example, like I'm taking an example of distressed.
mhm.
So, uh, maybe is this the case that someone, because many times it happens that if some situation rises or there is a distress or something like that, they try to react or they try to uh, think that I can do it myself. And I think when it is everything is done, then at last they surrender to Krishna. Is it right, or they automatically uh, surrender?
No, no, right. Because like I was saying, like if I get some distress, some many times people will try to solve by themselves, right? So first
Right.
they may start say, okay, I will take help of smoking or drugs, or maybe I will do some magic, or I will take help of friends. So they try several ways, and in that they don't know actually they are distressed, so they don't surrender. But when the situation goes out of hand, and then they know, oh my God, nothing can be done and I cannot do that, then they come to God. Of course, later they don't. Some immediately come, some come after a lot of trials and errors.
But that too, yeah. If someone gets mercy of uh, bhakta, like devotee, then only or automatically it happens. Like mercy is required in this.
Yes, yes. So Sukritino here means related to some contact with the bhakta or bhakti
Okay.
power.
Mm-hmm.
Something should be there. So they have eaten some prasad somewhere, or they have heard the name of say Hare Krishna mantra, or they have some devotee friends, something like that. Something is required which is connected with the Supreme Lord. Then only they will go to Krishna. Otherwise,
Okay.
they can go to anywhere.
Okay, understood. Yeah, because it's true, like you were saying that many people go to like drugs, alcohol, and
Mm,
here and there.
mm.
But then, yeah, like mercy is required, then only it happens.
Yeah, yeah. So
From
that's good point. That Sukritino here means something related to Supreme Lord. Only pious activities cannot take you to the Supreme Lord. It will take
right,
you to
right.
the heavenly planets.
Mm.
So, to reach to Krishna, you need some part of bhakti. Somehow, the Agyata Sukruti we say,
Okay, yes,
Agyata
yes.
Sukruti, somehow or other.
Okay, okay. Understood, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay. Thank you very much for joining. See you tomorrow.